Good afternoon. I'm Brendan Doherty.
I'm Tyler Moyer, and this is the voice of Duquesne Live. This past Tuesday, campus police took the campus community on a haunted experience. Our Betsy Bodwin has more with the story.
In the spirit of Halloween on Tuesday, students and staff with interest in paranormal things joined to take a haunted tour of campus.
So it's a way you can teach history, but also, the ghost stories themselves have a lot to show you about what people think and how they experience things.
The ghost tour started off Tuesday night at the Duquesne University police station, and then paranormal experts led the way around the campus to see all the haunted sites.
Okay. So I've been collecting folklore for about 30 years professionally, and I really like folklore and the stories. Whether you believe in supernatural stuff or not, folklore tells you a lot about the history of a place. It tells you often about what people are afraid of. It carries, sometimes ghost stories are a form of history, even if they're not explicitly correct or factually correct.
The path for the night included the Day Pla lobby, Towers, St. Martin's, the admin building and chapel basement, the Trinity Hall backyard, the Laval House, the Fisher Hall skywalk, and ended in the Gumberg Library archives.
So the ghost stories are a way to carry forward news of tragedies and all these things that happen. It's a way to make those memories live on. And sometimes, if you believe in supernatural stuff, then you can have something really being haunted too, and then have all this stuff going on at once. And sometimes it makes the stories very fascinating.
The ghost tour was a fun way to help get in the spirit of Halloween and kick off the week of Halloween here at Duquesne. This is Betsy Bodwin with the Voice of Duquesne Live, signing off.
Thank you, Betsy. Now in sports. The Duquesne's women's soccer team came away with 2 wins at St. Bonaventure last Thursday and at home against LaSalle this past Sunday. They improved to an overall record of 12-5-1 and 7-3 in A10 play. In the Thursday matchup at the Bonnies, the game was tied 1-1 before the Dukes added 2 quick goals through 26 minutes of play to make it 3-1. They kept that 2-goal lead throughout the majority of the game and then added 2 more late in the second half to end up winning 5-1. On Sunday, taking on the Explorers, the Dukes jumped out to an early 3-0 lead in the opening 28 minutes and never looked back. Leading the way for the Dukes was senior forward Maya Matessa, who finished with 2 goals and 1 assist. With those wins, the Dukes finished the regular season on their second 3-game win streak of the year, outscoring opponents 11-4. The Dukes earned the number 3 seed for the opening round of the A10 championship as they hosted number 6 seed Fordham Rams this Saturday at Rooney Field. Game time is at 2:30.
The Duquesne men's soccer team closed out the road portion of the 2025 regular season, losing to Davidson 2-1 last Saturday. They fell to an overall record of 8-5-2 and 2-5 in A10 play. The game was scoreless through the first 37 minutes before Davidson struck first. Less than 5 minutes later, Duquesne freshman Alex Posada drilled one, tying it up 1 apiece. The game stayed tied for almost the next 40 minutes of play until Davidson scored what would be the game-winning goal at the 82-minute mark. The Dukes get ready to close out their regular season this Saturday as they host George Mason at Rooney Field for an evening match.
On Saturday, Duquesne traveled to Wagner to take on the Seahawks and fell in a close battle. Wagner led by 10 at halftime, but 2 Duquesne field goals and a recovered muffed punt at the Wagner 20 gave the Dukes an opportunity to take the lead. However, Duquesne's drive stalled, and after a missed 49-yard field goal, Wagner would cap off the game with a 69-yard touchdown drive to make the final score 24-13 and giving the Dukes their first in-conference loss of the season. This was a surprising result as Wagner was 1-6 overall before the game and winless in NEC play. The Dukes will try to recover from last week's upset as they travel to take on Long Island University this Saturday.
On Friday and Saturday, Duquesne played 2 home games against Rhode Island. The Dukes won both games decisively, dropping only 1 set in the pair of matches. In the first game, the Dukes dropped the first set but were able to turn things around and win the next 3, including an exciting 25-22 final set. The Dukes would then sweep Rhode Island in the second match, improving their record to 13-10. These would also be milestone games for multiple players. Junior setter Chloe Wilmot notched a career 2,500th assist, and senior middle blocker Ariel Helm recorded her 400th career block in the second game. Duquesne has now won 4 out of their last 5 games and looks to continue this run when they take on St. Louis this Friday.
On Saturday, the number 9 ranked triathlon team competed in the East National Qualifier. The Dukes would finish 5th out of the 7 teams, but the event was highlighted by an 8th place finish by freshman Cadence Rabink. This was the first top 20 qualifier finish in Duquesne program history. Rubink will compete in the national championship on November 8th in Arizona. In other triathlon news, Duquesne head coach Joella Baker was inducted into the Butler County Sports Hall of Fame. Baker graduated from Duquesne in 1992 and has a long history of competing and coaching endurance sports. Baker has competed in over 300 triathlons and has represented Team USA in 7 world championships. Her resume also goes beyond just competing in triathlons, as Baker founded the Duquesne Triathlon Program, a program that has had multiple students ranked in the top 100 nationally. Vice President of Athletics Dave Harper said, "Joella is a trailblazer for our program and for the sport. Her passion for developing student athletes, both in competition and in life, exemplifies the mission and spirit of Duquesne University."
On Saturday, Duquesne won a thrilling exhibition game against Virginia Tech. The game saw the Dukes erase a 13-point deficit to win 83-81. Duquesne managed to take the lead with a minute 30 left, and despite Virginia Tech tying it, Terrence Ginyard responded with a dunk with 43 seconds left, which proved to be the difference maker. This game was highlighted by 21-point performances by guards Terrence Ginyard and Jimmy Williams. Both the men's and women's basketball teams will tip off their season on November 3rd at Cooper Fieldhouse. The women's team will take on St. Francis at 2 p.m., and the men's team will face Niagara at 7. Tickets are still on sale, so make sure to get them before they sell out.
The Duquesne men's tennis team competed at the CSU Invitational over the weekend, finishing the fall portion of their schedule. Senior Alfredo Vogelar and sophomore Enrique Lana led the Dukes in singles competitions, both making it to the Elite Eight. In doubles play, juniors Austin Lai and Gianluca Cittadini defeated YSU before losing to the eventual champion Knowles and Wasner 6-3. The Dukes are off until they begin their spring campaign in South Bend, Indiana to take on Notre Dame and Western Michigan on Monday, January 19th.
The Duquesne women's golf team finished their season at the Lehigh Invitational, finishing 7th out of the 15 teams. The Dukes posted a score of 646 over 36 holes in the tournament. The Dukes' best performer was Sasha Petrechko, who reached a score of 154, earning her a 12th place spot. Junior Lindsay Pawanda also collected the first eagle in program history. At hole 12 of the second round, Pawanda needed just 2 shots to reach the par 4 hole.
The Duquesne's women's bowling team competed in their second competition of the 2025 season Sunday, finishing with a record of 6-6 over 3 days at Destination Orlando in Florida. Duquesne opened play last Friday, finishing 3-2, highlighted by a win over number 7 North Carolina A&T. On Saturday, they finished 2-3, the main win being a blowout over Florida A&M. The Dukes then lost back-to-back games against UAB and Jacksonville State before ending the day with a close victory over number 11 Sacred Heart. Freshman Taylor Miller, who finished 19th individually, led the way for the Dukes, knocking down 980 pins over 5 games. Duquesne closed out Destination Orlando in the championship bracket, dropping a 4-3 decision to Bryant before earning a victory over number 6 Arkansas State. The Dukes now have an overall record of 13-12 as they get ready for the first of 2 NEC competitions, beginning next Friday, November 7th in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania.
Now let's over to Kylie Crocus with this week's weather.
Thank you, Tyler. I know you're all used to Morgan usually here for the weather, but she's feeling under the weather, so this week you have me. Let's start with the weather here in Pittsburgh. On Friday, tomorrow, we have a low of 41 and a high of 52 with a 65% chance of rain. Moving into the weekend, we have a low of 39, a high of 53. It's going to be a little partly cloudy on Saturday. On Sunday, to finish off the weekend, we have a low of 39, a high of 52, and some cloudiness. It won't be too sunny, but it's that fall weather we've all been waiting for. Moving into the week, we have Monday. It's going to be partly cloudy. We have a low of 37 and a high of 56. Moving into Tuesday, we're going to have a low of 39, a high of 57, but it's going to be sunny, the sun we've all been waiting for. Moving into Wednesday, we have a low of 36, a high of 59, and some more sun. And next Thursday, we'll have a low of 44, a high of 56, and more cloudiness. Moving into our friends in Rome, Italy, they're going to be seeing some rain on Friday with a low of 58, a high of 71, and a 75% chance of rain. Moving into the weekend over there, they're going to have a low of 52, a high of 74, and some sun. Moving to end off the weekends, they have a low of 54, a high of 69, and a 30% chance of rain. Moving into the week, they have a low of 54 on Monday, a high of 69, and a 55% chance of rain. On Tuesday, they're going to be seeing a low of 50, high of 69, and some sun. Wednesday next week up in Italy, they're going to have a low of 46, a high of 67, and a 55% chance of rain. And then next Thursday, they're going to be seeing a low of 49, a high of 65, and some sun. Now let's take a look at our friends in Ireland. If you're in Ireland, please bring out your umbrellas. It's going to be soaking wet this week. Tomorrow, they're going to be seeing a low of 49, a high of 57, and an 85% chance of thunderstorms. Moving into their weekend, they have a low of 44, a high of 51, and a 75% chance of rain. To end off the weekend, they're going to be seeing a low of 43, a high of 54, and a 45% chance of rain. To start off next week for them, they're going to have a low of 54, high of 59, and you guessed it, more rain, a 70% chance of rain over there in Ireland. On Tuesday, they're going to be seeing a low of 52, a high of 58, and a 75% chance of rain. Wednesday of next week, they're going to see a low of 50, high of 58, and an 80% chance of rain. And then Thursday next week up in Ireland, they're going to have a low of 49, a high of 55, and again, a 70% chance of rain. Back to you, Tyler.
Thank you, Kylie. Tuesday morning, the Office of the President hosted the annual Tea and Honey Jam with President Gormley, a special gathering lined Aid Walk from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The Office of the President joined with the Center for Student Involvement and Parkhurst to provide baked goods, jams, tea, and honey to students, staff, and faculty alike. With so much to choose from, it is the variety that brings people back each year. President Gormley himself created the idea to showcase local vendors off to the Duquesne community. The only item not locally sourced is the tea, which comes from Kenya. His idea was a big hit, as attendees say that they are never disappointed with this event, and students find it to be a free little treat to get you through the rest of the day. Make sure to keep a lookout for more events just like this from the Office of the President. The Halloween spirit is alive and well here at Duquesne. Our Madeline Grohlman has more with Towers Ghost Hours.
Hi, this is Madeline Grohlman from the Voice of Duquesne Live. Today we're at Towers for the Towers Ghost Hour event. Let's go check it out.
Resident Life is bringing Halloween spirit to campus with Towers Ghost Hours, a festive evening filled with movies, pumpkin painting, and prizes. The event took place this past Sunday, October 26th, from 7 to 10 p.m. in the Towers multipurpose room. We asked one of the RAs working the event, Belle, why she thought this event was so important, and she said,
So Towers is such a big building. You might see some people in the elevator hall or something like that. But you don't see most of the people in Towers. It's nice to have an event where people can actually just talk and paint a pumpkin together while they watch a movie and getting the spirit of Halloween together.
We also asked Belle to tell us a little about the event, and she said,
So the event is mainly just painting pumpkins, and there's also a movie going on while we do it, and there's some food. So there's cinnamon buns, there is popcorn, there's caramel apples with toppings, and apple cider, of course, because it is fall. So yeah.
There were many great prizes given out, and the Residence Life team plans to continue offering themed activities throughout the year to encourage residents to get involved around campus.
Everyone had a great time here tonight. Be sure to check out the RA's Instagram for more. This is Madeline Grohlman signing out from the Voice of Duquesne Live.
Thanks, Madeline.
On Friday night, a cappella singers from many colleges across Pennsylvania gathered to perform at Beats on the Bluff in the Student Union Ballroom. Students from Duquesne, Pitt, Carnegie Mellon, Penn State, and IUP all took the stage. There was a lively, upbeat atmosphere in the ballroom, with many performers having friends and family in attendance. Duquesne Junior's Charles Sims is a singer from Mic Drop a cappella and was an MC on Friday night, highlighting how great it was to have so many nearby schools perform in one night. This is probably our biggest event of the year because we have so many different schools around. Fellow junior William Scott sees this performance, the first one of the school year, as a great start as Mic Drop moves into the winter. This is a preview of all the great singers and skills we have. It was good practice for our future performances. Mic Drop gets their busiest in the springtime, but is working hard at preparing through the rest of the semester. As the warm weather wraps up, Food Truck Fridays comes to an end for the fall semester. Our Brendan Flato took to the academic walk to see why this event is so popular.
Thank you guys. My name is Brendan Flato with the Voice of Duquesne Live. We're out here at Food Truck Friday on A-Walk. Let's check out some of the different food options that they have and what students and the vendors think about the event.
Yeah, my name is Joe. Yeah, I'm running the Bunsik food truck. Basically, I'm selling Korean style kondo and then some other Korean street food, dumpling, kimbap, and Korean fried chicken. And then I'm always happy to be here, to be part of the homecoming Duquesne University. So I'm trying to travel like my food truck as many times as I can to the Pittsburgh area. But Duquesne University is hard to get it because of the traffic, 40th Avenue and 5th Avenue construction area. But on the campus event, whenever I come here, I am so happy to introduce my food to the Duquesne University. So that's why I'm always happy to come. Homecoming event. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, this is Pittsburgh Crepes food truck. We're serving sweet and savory crepes around Pittsburgh since 2013, and at Duquesne University at one of our best locations. This is the best event. Why? Because we're always very popular here, and just very happy to be here. A lot of students, they all nice, and they like Duquesne University likes strawberry banana Nutella. That's a top item. I think like every single of them getting strawberry banana Nutella.
Yeah, you know, I had the pleasure of visiting PGH Crepes. Got their notable strawberry banana Nutella. You know, it was a great food truck. Love what y'all have going on here at Food Truck Fridays. Make sure to stop by PGH Crepes.
So I really like the Friday food trucks that we get at Duquesne University. I get to try so many new different things. Like right now, I'm thinking about getting street tacos. I mean, think about it. Friday afternoon. Ethnic food, amazing.
All right, and that's it for me here at Food Truck Friday. It was great to speak with some students and some of the vendors here on campus for Food Truck Friday. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Brennan.
On Saturday, Campus Ministries hosted a Halloween party in the Student Union. The event was co-organized by Campus Ministries and Crossroads Christian Fellowship and featured free food, crafts, bingo, and a costume contest. The event was well attended with a variety of people and costumes and seemed to be enjoyed by everyone attending. James Poland, an intern for Campus Ministries, said he was excited to have many students of many different organizations come together for this event. Life of the Bluff's annual Fall Carnival took place last week. Let's go to our Alex Funk to see what the excitement was about.
Last Friday, the Office of Residence Life held the Duquesne Fall Carnival out on A-Walk. The carnival included plenty of fall-themed food, games, and other events. These included some hot cider, caramel apples, 4 different bouncy castles, a tote bag customization station, and a pumpkin patch. They even had a petting zoo with Highland cows, goats, and more. I managed to catch up with some of the RAs who were hosting the event.
Hi, my name is A.B. D'Amico. I'm one of the resident directors here on campus, and we are here at Fall Carnival. We're super excited. It's just a super fun day to celebrate, the end of a week. We have caramel apples and inflatables and a petting zoo with Highland cows. Those are the fluffy kind. This is just a fun way for us to get together with our students and kind of usher in the fall semester.
I'm working at the pumpkin patch, so I'm just kind of watching the pumpkins, waiting for all the students to come and have fun here at the carnival. So it's a great event, and it happens every year, so we are so happy to be having it again.
And we're here hosting the Fall on the Commons, and here we have a ring toss and a can game for everyone to play and win tickets for the raffle.
Overall, this was a very fun event, and I hope to see it return next year. Alright, back to you guys.
Thank you, Alex. Among many other clubs and organizations, Duquesne has an organization called Evergreen. Evergreen is a club that is focused on the environment, not just here on campus, but everywhere. On their campus link page, it says, through peaceful political activism, educational programs, and service opportunities, Evergreen works to foster a sense of respect, appreciation, and responsibility for the natural environment. Evergreen views protecting and improving the environment as essential to creating a more just world and hosts a variety of cleanups, educational and social events each semester. The state of the environment is ever-changing, evolving, and declining. Evergreen is a group of people encouraging the betterment of the environment and advising against any harm. We only have one Earth, and organizations like Evergreen are here to urge society to protect the planet. How do they do that? Well, member Bryn Tripp says Evergreen Club is an organization on campus that promotes sustainability and supports Duquesne students in caring for the city and planet. Evergreen believes in respecting and nurturing the natural world and using service opportunities to do so. Evergreen holds numerous events to support its overall ideology. They have some events planned for this coming April, the week leading up to Earth Day, like a trail mix and magnet giveaway, sort the trash and spin the wheel, and waste is whack. All of these events have one thing in common. They advocate for students to take care of the environment around them. Outside of their events, Evergreen holds meetings where people can share their ideas for future events or things they can do to better protect the planet. Bryn Tripp says, Evergreen provides a space to share common interests with my peers. Everyone involved in Evergreen comes from different majors and cities, but we all share the love and desire to protect the Earth. Starting college, I wanted to be involved with things that I have a passion for, even though it may not directly be related to my major, which is nursing. Evergreen provided a great opportunity for this, as it can for many other students. Evergreen is open to anyone. If you feel a love for the planet and are looking for a way to support the betterment of the environment, see about stopping by one of their meetings or events in April. After all, this Earth is the only one we have, and thanks to organizations like the Evergreen Club, there's more awareness on how to take care of it.
Now, let's head to Betsy Bodwin to learn more about the upcoming productions from The Voice of Duquesne Live.
Thank you, Brendan. I'm Betsy Bodwin, joined here today, in front of the camera for once, by Don Ma, the director of the Center for Emerging and Innovative Media. The VODL has a big week coming up next week. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is the Voice of Duquesne Live's first semester. So we're coming up on our 10th or 11th show. I mean, so it's amazing. We've had a show every week since the semester has begun. And it just seems like every week we get more and more ambitious. So this coming week, starting with the week of November 3rd, we have our most ambitious week ever. So for instance, on Tuesday, November 4th, it's election night around the country. So the Voice of Duquesne Live is partnering with the Duquesne Duke, and we're going to do a live broadcast of election results. So we're going to have correspondents at the two major mayor candidates' locations, so wherever their offices are, we're going to have some reporters there, and we'll be able to kind of fly them in as cameras and so on. And our show intends to start around 6 o'clock, and I don't think we want to go off the air until a mayor of Pittsburgh has been announced. Now, I don't think we have to go into midnight, but we're expecting right now that we'll be on the air at least until midnight. We're also hoping to have Professor Mystic, who is Joe Mystic is a professor in the law school, and he's a national expert on political elections, and so he's agreed to be a Zoom-in guest for us to give us some commentary on what's going on nationwide and so on in that midterm election. So we have a lot of people on the Voice of Duquesne Live and the Duke staff that are passionate about elections and politics and the difference that it makes. So that's Tuesday night. In the middle of the week, not necessarily related to Voice of Duquesne Live, but we have a big civil discourse event happening on campus that President Gormley is hosting, and includes former Vice President Mike Pence. And I will be working on that project, producing that event for the local PBS station, and we have some Voice of Duquesne Live students that are participating in that production. Then on Friday next week, so Friday, November 7th, is Duquesne's annual Night of Lights. And the Night of Lights is a program that we're going to broadcast live to, we've already sent an email out to 80,000 living alums around the world. So we're hoping, we would love for 10,000 alum globally to join us for the first time live for the Night of Lights. When students were surveyed by the Student Involvement Office under Adam Wasoko, there was an agreement from students that the #1 event that they loved at Duquesne every year is the Night of Lights. So Dr. Adam Wasoko, a good partner and colleague of mine, passionate about this, and I love working with him and his staff. So we're we're going to really raise the bar in terms of bringing this Night of Lights live to people all around the country. So if you look at it, there's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and literally dozens of hours of programming here, the Voice of Duquesne Live.
Yeah, what have some of the preparations looked like for these upcoming productions?
Well, the preparations. So if you look at the first event, which is Tuesday, we've had a couple meetings with Eliyahu Gasson, who's the executive. He's the editor-in-chief of the Duquesne Duke, kind of strategizing how we want to bring statistics into this studio here, where we want our staff to be around the city, how we're going to have them join us, what kinds of stories, what kinds of things we want to cover. So a lot of pre-production on content alone. In addition to that, I've been working on the websites that will be our statistical source for the returns of the election. So we've working on that. We'll have a statistician here, someone that's kind of responsible for the stats, and then just kind of preparing the ability to communicate with people that are going to be around the city, how we'll keep them all in touch so that someone that is in a remote location knows we're about to cut to them in 3 minutes or whatever like that. So the pre-production for that event alone has been pretty substantial. For the Night of Lights, it's been probably tenfold that. So one of my favorite examples is earlier this week, this is only Wednesday, so I guess it would have been Monday, I took every one of the devices that we're going to use for the Night of Lights that requires a battery and charged them. And I think I counted 24 separate devices that are all, it took them over a day to charge, simply because we're going to have cameras and microphones and things out on Academic Walk, all wireless, coming into here. And that's one of the first times we've done something like that. So preparation on the technical level has been pretty substantial. In addition to that, I just had lunch with Father Hogan. A lot of people don't know if there really is a real Father Hogan. So I had lunch with Father Hogan today, and we're going to do an interview with Father Hogan, myself and Nick Miller, our SGA president. And the purpose of that interview is to talk to Father about his memories of starting the Night of Lights, because I believe we're around our 27th consecutive year. So pre-production for that interview included sitting down with Father Hogan, kind of going over the questions that we want to ask and so on. In addition to that, in several meetings that I've had with Adam Wasoko and his staff, we're going to do a film on the history of Night of Lights. So I've been writing that film, so I basically wrote the script for it, which I'm not the expert, but I had to be for this. I shot a whole bunch of footage in 2023 of the Night of Lights, so right now I'm in post-production and pre-production on that, and we have someone from our Greek office. Cindy is going to be the voiceover. I think she has a really nice kind of smooth kind of voice. She says she has a very Pittsburgh accent, but I think she's the perfect voiceover for this. So we're going to record her voiceover on Monday for that film. So just the amount of pieces that are in motion for the Night of Lights, including an email to all alum, and behind us is the QR code for people to connect to it. It's been a lot of work, and I mean, it's amazing. So I would guess we've probably put 100 hours into the Night of Lights event alone, and it isn't even here yet. So that's what happens.
Yeah. And as the semester comes to an end, we all get busy for finals. Hopefully Campus Lights will bring joy to all through this holiday season. But thank you so much for being with us today, in front of the camera for once.
Yeah, this is a weird feeling, yeah.
Back to you, Brendan.
Thank you, Betsy. I'm Brendan Doherty.
I'm Tyler Moyer. Hope to see you next Thursday.